Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing Nuke.
Welcome back to the IBFP. These are the top fighters that need to sign with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing, and DAZN. Okay, fight fans, looks like here that we have the top fighters that need to reach out to Eddie Hearn, get a deal done to establish their careers in a more lucrative way. The first fighter up is Guillermo El Chocón Rigondeaux. Now, basically, Guillermo Rigo is coming off a knockout, or basically a loss in which he quit and said he had a hurt hand, but clearly Vasily Lomachenko made him quit. He was thoroughly outboxed, but he's still a very talented fighter. May have went up too far in weight, but he is a very, very good fighter. Guillermo Rigo was once signed with Rock Nation, and they hadn't done much for his career. Not much in the way of promotion and exposure. The rumor is that he's looking for a new promoter. He's a free agent, and he's looking to sign with a lot of different guys. At this point in his career, he's looking for the big fights that make sense. There are some rumors about him possibly signing with Al Haymon, which I think would be a horrendous decision. Al Haymon has a reputation of not getting the most exposure for his fighters. Yes, he's not technically a promoter, but if he stays and sides with Al Haymon in this process, then basically that means Al Haymon would be his de facto promoter. And the guys that's been under Al Haymon's advisement, guys like Deontay Wilder, really had no exposure, no publicity, and no fame for years until Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn came along. Say what you want about Eddie Hearn as a person, as a salesman. One good thing that he can do is promote a fight, grab attention and headlines, and make big events. Now, Eddie Hearn with DAZN being rumored at over $1 billion in funds being available for his fighters. Guillermo Rigo should look into making a call to Eddie Hearn immediately to promote him, to get him the biggest fights at this stage in his career. And I think that would be a genius move from Guillermo Rigondeaux. The next fighter on our list here is going to be Islandi, the American Dream Lara. That's right, Islandi, the American Dream Lara. Now, Islandi Lara was in a very close and tough fight against Jarrett Swift-Hurd, in a fight that I believe in which he won, even though the knockdown at the end I felt didn't negate his victory. Unfortunately, the judges didn't see it that way. He lost, I believe, by a split decision. And so that gave the fight to Jarrett Swift-Hurd. I would love to see the rematch. It was a close, competitive fight. And at this point, it looks like Jarrett Hurd is looking to nurse that injury, his shoulder injury, and he looks like he's going for a tune-up in November. And then after that tune-up, he plans to unify with Jermell Charlo. And if he doesn't get that unification, Islandi Lara has been mandated an immediate rematch by one of the sanctioning bodies, so we'll see if that fight happens. But at this point, Islandi Lara has also been advised by Al Haymon. His career has been stagnant and stale due to the fact that he hasn't had a legitimate promoter, and also from the fact that he just has a very unpopular boxing style. So with a guy like Islandi Lara, he needs to be put in a position to be shown off as one of the best boxers in the game today, and he is a very talented boxer with an unpleasant and boxing style that many fight fans don't care for. And so since that's the case, you have to showcase a guy like this in front of fans that truly love and appreciate the sweet science and what he brings to the table, put him on bigger platforms and bigger fights, and against opponents that bring out the fighting style that they want to see, make him uncomfortable and bring out the best in him. And he immediately needs to reach out to Eddie Hearn to get that deal done and to fight on DAZN. I think that'll be a better move for him to fight and be a matchroom boxer fighter. He just needs more exposure, more publicity. And the last fighter here on our list is going to be Luis King Kong Ortiz. Luis King Kong Ortiz recently has raised his profile against Deontay Wilder in their most recent fight. There are ongoing talks with Luis Ortiz reuniting with Eddie Hearn, a promoter of his past. But in this situation, Luis Ortiz and Eddie Hearn would be in a completely different situation. Not only would Eddie Hearn have a unified world heavyweight champion that could possibly give Luis Ortiz a shot, he also has many other heavyweights in the stable that he's signing. He also has a big baby Jarrell Miller that he has. That'll be a great show. And he can also do one thing for all three of these fighters that no other promoter can. He can host a boxing event in Miami, Florida. And Miami, Florida has a huge Cuban boxing community, and all three of these fighters happen to be Cuban American boxers. And so at this point, Eddie Hearn has did a lot of talks about the launch of DAZN, and also going to different cities and opening up new venues. One of the venues that was talked about was Miami, Florida. He also talked about Chicago, and as we know, Chicago has a fight card that's already been established. So can you imagine if Eddie Hearn hosted an event in Miami, Florida with 3 Cuban fighters headlining? You have Guillermo Rigo, Islandi the American Dream Lara, and then you have Luis King Kong Ortiz. That would be one of the best cards in boxing today. You have 3 very gifted, talented fighters, and then you'd have them in their home city of Miami, Florida, in a huge, big boxing event. That's not only good for these fighters, that's good for boxing. Stay tuned for more great videos from the IBFP. Please subscribe.